have an idea for me, you know, to be an entrepreneur. I've had this for like 2 years.
The answer is no. You cannot leave
I knew
success.
You would say that.
You cannot leave success. This is for everybody else but you. No, please continue.
Yeah, so it would fill a hole in the fashion industry. So that's my idea. But my struggle is that I have this great job with success, and I have a young family, and they're supported by me. So I can't necessarily just quit my job. And I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to do that. That's too much risk. It's scary. But I think about, okay, so if I wanted to spend a little bit of time investing in this business, you know, what do you think about that? What do you think about starting part-time as an entrepreneur while working full-time as an employee?
I'm not a believer in leaping and hoping that the net will appear. It's an American myth. You bounce, it's ugly. It's not something anybody should ever do. I don't recommend going all in at the sacrifice of a family. One of the things that I learned from Branson is he said, you know, never let your bet on a business or an entrepreneurial endeavor, if it fails, have you living in your car. And one of his most important principles of entrepreneurship is always protect the downside. If you read his story, when he started the airline, he made a deal with Boeing that in a year, if it didn't work, they would buy the plane back from him at the price that he paid. In other words, he wanted to make a go of it, but if it didn't work out, he wouldn't have sacrificed everything he'd built up to that point and put his family in jeopardy. So always protect the downside. And when you're young, you know, you can kind of throw it all against the wall and see what sticks, and if it doesn't work out, you can sleep on your friend's couch and eat ramen noodles. But if you got a family,
yeah, it's a lot different when you have a family.
Yeah, when you got a family, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them. You have a duty to provide a life and a place of comfort and security. But at the same time, you can get started part-time. You can get started on the side. Jim Rohn taught me, he says, you know, you can work full-time at your job and part-time at your fortune. And then when your part-time fortune becomes more than your full-time income, now you can make the transition. And there's never been a better time, because today you can start something with very little money. You can test it. You can see if it scales. You can market prove it before you really have to kind of take a deep dive. So that's the reason why I also reiterate, these are the times of epic opportunity. What cost me $3 million in the year 2000 to start would cost $5,000 to $10,000. You could take $5,000 or $10,000. Start this on the side. See if it works. See what it needs to be iterated, to change. See what market acceptance you get. See if you can get it distributed. And as soon as you see the traction and you start to see the cash flow and you get a couple of other people kind of working with you on it, it's easy to step over with it already fully proven that it will work. That wasn't possible before.
It's really good to hear that, because a lot of people are just like me out there. They don't want to just quit their job, but that's what everybody's telling them to do. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to quit your job.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah.
No, I don't recommend it at all. And it's too easy to get something started in very little time and very little money. Go and get it scaling and growing and building. And everybody should have a multiple source of income, really. I mean, so have a job that you may never want to leave. Like, you may never want to leave success ever because you love it so much. But you could also have a whole thriving sideline business that provides an extra layer of security as well as lifestyle for your family, that you know, you could do it in your very, very spare extra time that you've got, of course.